Hi there, it's Jonathan Herbst, the founder and CEO of Scale Up Growth again. Welcome to our Stories of Scaling Up series, where I chat with owners, business leaders, entrepreneurs of scaling companies. It centers around their entrepreneurial journey so far and their aspirations for their companies. So today I'm speaking to, I'm hoping I'll get the right pronunciation right here, but Pascale Helyar Moray. Is that right, Pascale?
Absolutely perfect. Well done.
Thank you. And Pascale is founder and CEO of Super Rewards. So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, and thank you for the opportunity.
I look forward to it. So tell me, Super Rewards, what do you do and how long have you been doing it?
Right. So Super Rewards has been around for 3 years, and Super Rewards is a platform. Yeah. Super Rewards is a platform where you earn super with your everyday spend. So you join Super Rewards, it's free to join. And then when you shop at any of our 500 retailers, online retailers, or any of our 800 in-store retailers, the retailer pays a portion of your purchase into your superannuation.
Fabulous.
That's it. So we're lucky enough to have some really amazing brand names. So for our online retailers, we have groups like Apple, eBay, Catch, Big W, BWS, Virgin, Luxury Escapes, Booking.com, as a few amongst them. And then for our in-store retailers, we have any number of coffee shops and dry cleaners and pharmacies and so on. So the vision is really that no matter what you do in your online or your everyday physical activity, you through the process of living life and, coordinating the household and running errands and so on, that you're rewarded for your time and effort doing so through contributions to your super. So, for example, if let's say I spent, as I did the other day, $200 at the Iconic is paying $6 into my Super Rewards account, and then that $6 plus any other rewards I've accrued will be transferred to my individual super account. So Super Rewards pays into any super account in Australia, even including SMSFs.
I've got to ask that question. I wish I'd known about you 3 months ago before I did
all the Christmas shopping.
I was thinking about the luxury escapes. I took the family to Uluru, and that was the last month on luxury escapes.
Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. Well, next time.
Absolutely. So 2018, it's been an interesting journey for you.
Yeah.
Tell me, so we've all been through COVID. Some of the actions that you took during COVID that have stuck with the business going forward.
Well, it's really interesting as a question, because we were even pre-pandemic, we all worked from home. So we actually were ahead of the curve and ready for when COVID hit. But what we did during COVID is that during lockdown 1 is that we instigated the equivalent of a bar tab with a psychologist, because we could, and so we could see that staff were struggling either, and COVID was different for everyone, right? So some people who lived alone, were really struggling from a social perspective. Others amongst us who have quite a few children among us couldn't escape the kids, right? So everyone was trying to cope with it in their own different way. So what we did is we reached out to a psychology practice, and we essentially put a couple of $1,000s behind the bar, as it were, and any of our team members could confidentially talk to their psychologist in their own time and talk about what their stresses were, et cetera, as a result of the pandemic. And that's something that we've kept going even after the pandemic.
What a great idea.
Yeah, well, we just wanted to be able to support the team, right? Because we're a small but perfectly formed team. But, this was this extra layer on everyone. And, some of us know each other better than others, but it's true to say that not everyone feels comfortable sticking up your hand and saying, "Oh, I'm struggling mentally." So we just wanted them to know that they had that access and that support and that resource available to them.
Great idea. That's interesting. We're dealing with some grief in our family right now, and I'm encouraging my wife and their sisters to reach out for some counselling. And it's I'm really hoping they do, because I found in the past I found it extraordinarily helpful with a particular grief issue I had. But congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
So it's been quite a, you talk about your partners. It's quite a significant growth from the kickoff of 2018.
Well, we started the company in 2018, but we actually went live to market in end of 2019. So hence the 3-year anniversary. And yeah, there has been significant growth. I mean, when we started, you might laugh when you hear this. Had online retailers only, and we had 100 of them. And now here we are we're actually nudging 550 at the moment for the online retailers. And the adoption by the retailers was so much so that we actually had to redesign our platform, because we just hadn't anticipated that rapid, the rapidness of the growth. And so that was quite a big undertaking. But I think we really resonated with retailers because they understand that it's 80% of all household purchasing decisions are made by women. Now, Super Rewards is designed for women, yes, but we are open to any gender, because there's lots of low income earning men out there as well. So I think the retailers they understood our proposition. We had this nice ESG aspect to us. And because we were the first to market and being able to pay to any super account, and we had the correct representation. We work as a corporate authorised rep under an Australian financial services license. They felt, I think, comfortable that, if Jonathan earned $6 on his iconic purchase, that $6 would make it to him.
And I have to say, for anybody that has had anything to do with ASIC APRA, with licenses like that, I'm a director of Superannuation Fund.
Oh, okay.
How hard what you just said. How hard it was to put in place.
Oh yes. It was, and actually, it's a very relevant point, because when we were trying to get all this off the ground, conceptually, etc., this was directly after the Royal Commission, right? So AFSLs, which they used to be found on the back of a cornflakes packet, but it was a lot easier by the time we came along and tried to get that license. It was difficult. It was difficult. And the insurance side, my God, can you imagine? Post Royal Commission, this new business going, hey, we want to help people grow their super through shopping, and the insurers were like, oh my God, hold the phone. So that was definitely very, very challenging. But I think it was really important for us. And I think it's really important for our users as well, because for a period of time, we are the custodians of people's retirement monies, right? And that's a pretty serious responsibility. So we have all sorts of checks and balances in place. We have a rigorous, sign off and ledger reconciliation process every month with the rewards. The monies that the Iconic pays, for example, they go into a separate trust account, which we do not operate. We view, but we do not operate. And from a due diligence perspective, it's only once our AFSL provider has done the checks and balances, made sure that Jonathan has his $6, that we as a business are paid. Yep. So, that should provide great comfort to anyone using the service.
And I should say, having done a bit of research on Pascale, when you look a very, very well qualified and experienced to actually run a business like this. So, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Well, it's we want to make sure that people get what they think they're getting, right?
So what does the future look like, and what do you see as your main challenges going forward?
The future looks like growth for us, and that is also our biggest challenge. It's fun, super. Like, this is the easiest way to earn super. You don't have to be in the workforce, right? It doesn't matter male or female. All that I need to do is just make sure that I buy through a super rewards retailer, right? And so, but despite this being the easiest, quickest, most practical way to add to your super, just the concept of super for most people is it's as sexy as a dead fish, right? So, um, um, and so getting people excited about their super and committing to just tweaking their behavior in order to enter their super is probably our greatest challenge. What we have developed is a SaaS strategy where we partner with the super funds, right? And that has proven very effective for us. But the challenge with the super funds as a cohort themselves is that everything moves incredibly slowly. And there's, any number of reasons for that. I mean, we have seen in the super...
We'll call it the trustee and the administrators.
Yeah. You said it, not me. Okay. But it is simply, there's no urgency, right? Everything's off in 20, 25, 30 years. And of course, it's been this incredible period of mergers and consolidation. So, but what we do see, and the really interesting thing for us is that when we see one of those fund partnerships come to fruition and they do, what they say they're going to do, the response rate is incredible. And so I'll give you some examples. Let's think about somebody who signs up to us direct. Let's say they've come to us from PR or, digital activity, whatever. And then we contrast that with someone who's come to us from a super fund partnership, which is effectively where the super fund is saying, "Dear Jonathan, here's how you earn free super." Okay, I'm paraphrasing, but you get the gist.
Sure.
What we see is a conversion rate of up to 20 times.
Wow.
20 times. And then we also see the user from the super fund partnership tends to spend 2.5 times as much as the direct user. Now, it's not that they're being profligate. It's not that they're spending money they don't have. It's simply that their super fund has said, "Here's how you earn free super." And so they've got it, it's front of mind that they channel their through us. Yeah.
If you think about flybys, I mean, that's
right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Then do it. So what do you think has been the biggest learning you've had since you've been a business owner?
Just say yes and figure everything else out later.
That's a great piece of advice.
I mean, you just, if you wait for everything to be all perfectly aligned before you agree to do X marketing or Y business development,
Yeah.
you just can't. Sometimes you just got to wing it and go, yeah, we can do that. And then go, we need to have a little chat.
It's one of those things like I coach my clients, and it's one of the hardest things to get through is go with the 80% solution. And, as you say, just say yes. It's,
Yeah.
Wow. It's amazing what you can achieve.
That's right.
Well, and, your comment about, I picked up, when you started, you only had 100 partners ongoing. That's a hell of a lot for to get started.
Yeah, no, we did really well. Like we had, and it wasn't just, when we launched any just sort of Tom, Dick or Harry online retailer. When we launched, we had Woolies, we had The Iconic, we had Apple, we had eBay. Like we had all these amazing brand names. So, and that for a company that hadn't launched to market, it was quite remarkable.
That's fabulous. So tell me, when you think of the word successful, who comes to mind and why?
Oh gosh. I think Richard Branson is someone I would deem successful. And just because I think he's the first entrepreneur I ever really identified as being an entrepreneur.
Mm.
And he's had such an amazing journey with that. From a from a female success perspective, I look at any, I guess, any female leader in their field who has been able to, because, to have conquered that market or that sector, as a woman it tends to be harder than for men. And usually they've had to juggle it whilst also raising a family. So I think of people like, for example, Serena Williams. I think of, um, high paying like Kate Blanchett, for example. I think of, Melanie Perkins from Canva. And so I think it's people who've been able to stay the course, persist with what they've done. They've kept true to their vision, whilst dealing with life's other myriad responsibilities thrown at them.
Yeah, I think so. I'm interviewing you, but what I started the conversation before we started taking with Pascale, talking about an organisation called Head Over Heels, and Head Over Heels is I'll get it wrong, but it's an organisation that supports and promotes female entrepreneurs. Is that
Yes, that's exactly right. Yep.
In the last 8 of these interviews, I've interviewed probably 6 of you. And I tell you what, for any listeners, go back and listen to the stories, as you say, juggling life and COVID of some of these female entrepreneurs. I'm not denigrating male entrepreneurs in any way, shape, or form, but some of the successes of the women I've interviewed in the last 6 or 8 interviews are phenomenal.
Yeah.
Okay, are you a reader or listener?
Yeah.
Is there anything you'd recommend?
I am both. I do love the podcast. Actually, I love 2 podcasts. How I Built This.
Yeah, Guy Raz. Yep.
And I also love the podcast We Can Do Hard Things by Glennon Doyle.
Okay, don't know that.
Very good. And then in terms of books, I'm reading Atomic Habits by James Cleary.
Yep. James Clear.
Sorry, yeah, not Cleary. James Clear. And I'm listening as an audiobook to Atlas of the Heart by Brené Brown.
She's fabulous.
Ah, my goodness. And I think I'm on chapter 10, and I think we've just about covered all of the 87 emotions. And you might say to me, well, why is a business book? And I think, well, no matter what we do, which sector we're in, if it's fintech or wards or super or whatever, everyone who works and is in a team and builds a business is human, right? And so if you're going to be able to interact or manage or run, lead a team of people, you need to have, a clear understanding of different emotions and what is this emotion, and how do we react to it, or how do we manage it?
Yeah, no, she's quite extraordinary, and she's got this fabulous speaking voice.
Oh, I can listen to her all day.
Yeah, I'm one of the podcasts, first one I think she did. So I've got a cold in my mind, so I've got mad flu, so I'm not picky. But go look up the TEDx talk she did. It's fabulous.
On vulnerability, yes, yeah,
Right.
fantastic.
So my last question: any last parting piece of advice or parting words for entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs out there?
I would say, and knowing that this audience is a bunch of entrepreneurs, I would say, just do it.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of people who talk the talk, but even fewer walk the walk. And if you really believe in it, and it's, you've done your market research and you've done your analysis and you've found your teams and so on, just do it. Make sure you minimize your risk as much as you can, but just go for it.
Great piece of advice. And it's interesting, we were talking about these interviews before we start. This came from a challenge to my son on the beach in Fiji, saying, "Danny, I don't listen to our podcast. And I came back and said, right, we'll do this. And it's like, it's probably been in these interviews one of the best things I've done in my business career, because I love the conversations.
Well, I was going to say, Jonathan, it's clear that you really enjoy the conversations.
They are fun. I mean, they really are. So just do it. That's a great way to finish. Thank you so much.
You're so very welcome.
And I'm going to say, this is the 23rd of December. I really appreciate the fact that, we're a day away from Christmas, and you've taken the time. So a special thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Cheers.